So this is the advertising tool. And it's showing you right now where I call this the Jerry Maguire way of thinking about advertising. It's the show me the money way. This is total annual revenue around Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And we can see more specific filters here, 29 miles, so on and so forth. I'm not going to stick with this particular use case because I like to talk about things that I know about. So I'm a father with two daughters, 10 and 5, and they hated going to the dentist. So my wife and I looked for a dentist. We actually had to drive 30 miles away from where we were to actually find that dentist. And he was a specialty dentist for families with kids. And so what he had was on the ceiling, he put flat panel TVs with wireless headsets so the kids could watch My Little Pony or whatnot. And he uses nitrous instead of needles for sedation and pain relief. So it was really interesting. We drove to a city outside of the city of Austin where I live to go see this dentist. So he wasn't going to change where he was located, but he did advertise in the city of Austin. And this is the way that he thought about it. So again, 30 miles seems like a reasonable distance to go to. But in this case, instead of looking at total annual revenue, that's the Jerry Maguire show me the money way, he actually wanted to look for areas that were underserved. So in the same way that we showed you additional types of analysis in the other tools, you can analyze the market many different ways. So in this case, we can look at underserved markets. So these are not the areas that are making the most money. These are the areas where people are spending a lot of money, but businesses might not be taking it in. And we can adjust the filters specific to your marketing goals or use case. So following my dentist, he's going to charge a little bit more because he's a specialty dentist who focuses on families. So we were at like 18 zip codes, and I don't have the budget to advertise in all 18 zip codes, but now we're at 14. So we're showing higher revenue areas, and he's a dentist. So why don't we focus on a median age old enough to have teeth, not so old that you're losing them? That would be a different type of dentistry. And now we've seen that we've gone down to a much more manageable 10 zip codes. And these are very specific to the use case that you are looking at. We're looking at households greater than $50,000 worth of income, and we're looking at ones that have the age that we're targeting. And what's really interesting, and you'll notice this, is there are areas outside of the state that you can market to. So right now we're looking at this from the perspective of a dentist that is trying to focus their advertising. Now, obviously you have these zip codes and we could take information about them and put that into Google AdWords or Facebook ads. Or you might know that there are chambers in those areas or billboards. We're not telling you how to advertise, but we're saying these are the specific areas that you should focus your advertising based on what your marketing plan dictates. I'm just going to click the PDF button, and then I want to show you how else we could use this tool. So this is specifically for dentists. We're looking, what happens if, and we saw a lot of this happen during the pandemic, maybe you start designing your own jewelry. And, you know, we could, of course, look at total annual revenue. And let's go ahead and clear these filters because we're just interested in people who want to buy our jewelry. Let's go nationwide. So sure enough, more money on jewelry is being spent in New York and Los Angeles and Santa Fe and Chicago and Beverly Hills, to be expected. But maybe your jewelry you're selling it on Etsy or eBay or other things, and you're looking for areas that are underserved markets. And maybe just like before, you're targeting certain households. So maybe we go to at most 150,000. And now, guess what? You're marketing to Milwaukee, Mesquite, El Paso, Tulare, Bakersfield. So it doesn't matter where your business is in the state of Wisconsin, whatever your trade area is, the analysis can be performed on this tool. So I'm going to go ahead and pause there for a second and just see if there are any questions specifically about this tool. And then I'm going to take you and show you how one tool can interact with another. All right. It looks like we're good, Armando, so I'm going to go ahead and show you. So I was showing you advertising from a business-to-business perspective, and then also business to consumer. Let's revisit the My Business tool and talk about a previous use case, which was the carpenter. So they're going to advertise to single-family home construction businesses. I don't know what the typical single-family home builder size is within the state of Wisconsin. but I can use the tool to find out more, not just about my businesses, but the businesses that I'm selling to. So I'm going to go to single family house construction. We're going to look around and look around. And what we're going to find out is we can see how much money they're pulling in. But my use case is really specific. I don't want to work for like the Lennar, KB Homes, Cal Atlantic. I just have a 4-person carpentry crew. So I'm not really to take on those huge types of projects. But what I might be interested in are the number of employees in that particular single family home construction business. Now I know that the typical is around 6. This is fantastic information that I didn't have before. So in the same way I showed you filters for consumers, we can do the same thing with businesses. So instead of underserved markets, I want to look at marketing my services to smaller single family home construction businesses, ones that are doing boutique businesses. Now, maybe I drive up to 60 miles to work on these projects. So I can go ahead and adjust that to 60 miles. And then I'm going to adjust those filters. I don't want to target areas that have really big home builders. So I'm going to adjust my filter down to at most 10 people. And now I can see the areas 7 to 10 all the way down to 5 to 6, or we can go out to the 4th page and see that in Blair, Wisconsin, we just dipped into Dorchester, Iowa. Those are single, smaller, probably boutique construction firms. And if I was going to advertise that I could work on their new home construction, I would focus on these specific areas. So one module can help you learn more about how you could use another module in this example. So just as a quick review, we've gone through My Business, or the benchmarking tool that allows you to objectively understand how your business would perform against typical competitors. The competition tool, which allows you to see your entire ecosystem in which you're operating, from your competitors, your customers, potential customers, and supply chain. And then lastly, the advertising tool, which allows you to understand how you can optimize the value of every dollar you spend on marketing. And we've also showed you a little bit of an advanced trick, which is where you can use one module to inform the type of analysis that you do on another.